शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः सुन्वन्ति दिव्यैः स्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्लोक अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वम् प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः न त्वेवाहं जातु नासम् न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्। श्री भगवान उवाच। भगवान started teaching to Arjuna, who discovered the fundamental problem, shifting his attention from this incidental or topical problem. His incidental or topical problem was, how can I fight this war? Whether to fight or not. And is it appropriate to fight this war when so much violence is involved? So that was topical, situational problem, which is not an universal problem, because everybody doesn't have to fight the battle, regular battle. Yeah, we do fight our family battle and all this small battle. Our what is called co-staff members, we may have small battle, but like Arjuna, we don't have. So it is not universal problem. But from his topical problem, situational problem, he comes to the discovery of paying attention to the fundamental problem. What is the fundamental problem? Whatever happens or does not happen, I continue to be a limited person, a person with some sorrow, some lacuna. And that is the fundamental problem, not only of Arjuna, it is the problem of everybody. Whatever happens, person is bachelor or married, and again divorce. Whatever happens from bachelor to marriage to divorce, situations seem to be changed outside, but inside it is the same. Earlier I was bachelor and limited, filling some lacuna. Therefore I got married, thinking that marriage will make me a complete man. It doesn't make. It doesn't make the person complete. Then afterwards, marriage is so much problem. So he took divorce. That also doesn't solve the problem. Then he or she has to look for another person. Thus, Arjuna discovers this problem of sorrow, lacuna, sense of inadequacy, and he requested Bhagwan. And Bhagwan said, your shoka is because of ignorance of the truth about yourself, the world. You are having wrong understanding about yourself and the world. Therefore, there is shoka. Because wise people do not grieve. If you have wisdom, you will not have sorrow. You are grieving after something which does not deserve grief. Ashocha Nanvashocha. And from the 12th shloka, Bhagavan is going to show how Arjuna, you are grieving after something which does not deserve grief. And he is going to talk about the undeserving nature of everything. The nature of everything not deserving sorrow. That's what I mean by undeserving. Nothing deserves your sorrow. Every situation deserves your response. Or sometimes even silence. Silence also can be a response. When we come to know that this person is not going to survive, what? Silence, mature silence is the response. Or somebody is shouting at you because of his or her background. What is a mature response? Silence. So sometimes silence can be a response. Sometimes doing a particular thing can be a mature response. So Arjuna, nothing deserves, warrants sorrow. How is it so? That he is going to talk about from the 12th shloka. Otherwise, it will be a hollow statement. You are grieving after something which does not deserve grief. Like people say that, don't worry, don't worry. But why should I not worry? You tell me. What is the basis? You tell me why my worries are unwarranted. It needs to be explained. So Bhagavan does that. And he does it from three angles. One is Tattva Drishti or Adhyatmika Drishti. From the standpoint of the true nature of oneself. From that angle, he will say there is no basis for sorrow. Second is Dharma Drishti. From the standpoint of Dharma also, Arjuna, you do not have basis for sorrow in doing your duty. Fighting this war is not against Dharma, even though it involves some himsa, some violence. It is something like in the body, if some part has been highly infected, then needs to be removed. If it is not removed, it will cause further harm. And it is not himsa. We don't call doctor who amputated this part, we said he did a himsa. We don't say that. It is a requirement. Or a judge gives the capital punishment to the person who killed hundreds of people by bomb blast or something. That person deserves. It is not that, oh, judge should not think, oh, ahimsa, I should follow. That's not ahimsa. It is immaturity. When certain situation requires a response involving some violence to prevent the further violence, bigger violence, then it is an appropriate response. But that himsa should not come out of my anger. It is not that judge is angry with the person and therefore he gives capital punishment. He read this news and he's so angry and he just, before case starts, he said capital punishment. That is not judgment. But based on the facts, when he gives the judgment, it is appropriate. So from the angle of dharma, also Bhagavan will say that there is no basis for sorrow. From dharma angle also, what you are supposed to do, if you do, it is appropriate. There is no need for, there is no basis for sorrow. And third angle, which is very gross angle, and that is Laukika Drishti. Even from the standpoint of your name and fame, reputation, Arjuna, you have earned, even from that angle, you need not have any sorrow. Because this war is not going to bring your reputation down, it will maintain or rather increase. So even from that angle, Arjuna, you don't have any basis for sorrow. Out of these three angles, the most important angle and the angle which Bhagavan is going to highlight more, that is Adhyatmika Drishti, Tattva Drishti. The angle of the vision of the truth based on which there is no scope for sorrow. And why Bhagavan is going to highlight that more? Why there is a primary focus on that? There are two reasons for that. One is this Adhyatmika Drishti, the vision of truth, that is the final solution. And Arjuna wanted the final solution, the ultimate solution. And therefore, Bhagavan is going to highlight that part more. Second reason is that Arjuna did not have so much problem regarding the knowledge of Dharma Shastra. He knew it. He knew Dharma Shastra well. He was a learned person. So, Dharma Shastra ignorance was not a real issue. Only thing is Dharma Jnanam, his knowledge about Dharma was veiled, covered because of his attachment to his relatives. Therefore, he did not require so much knowledge about Dharma Shastra. What he needed was the knowledge of the truth, which will make him free from not only this problem, all problems. And therefore, Bhagavan is going to highlight this Adhyatmika Drishti, the spiritual vision or the vision of truth of everything. And that is done from the 12th sloka. And this vision of truth or vision of self, teaching on that starts with Atma Anatma Viveka, which we did in the last class, if you remember. That the problem of samsara, the bondage, is because of mix-up of what I am and what I am not. And solution is to separate them cognitively. And that cognitive separation is called Atma Anatma Viveka. Cognitive discrimination of self and non-self. And that we had started based on the principle that I am knowing principle. I am the one who is illumining, knowing, and everything else is known. And I, the knower, am different from what is known. Like the book is known, I am different from the book. This table is known, I am different from the table. Similarly, body is known, I am different from the body. So body's qualities are not my qualities. Body is fat, I am the witness of the body which is fat. Similarly, sense organs. Similarly, the mind. The mind is agitated, I am the witness of the mind which is agitated. I am not agitated. And who am I? I am the content of awarer. I am awarer with reference to the body, senses and the mind. But I by myself am the content of awarer called awareness, otherwise called consciousness, Chaitanyam. Chaitanya Swarupaha Atma. In Shiva Sutra, there is a sutra. Chaitanya Swarupa Atma. I am the self which is of the nature of consciousness. What is this consciousness? In fact, regarding consciousness also, people have so many wrong ideas. People think that consciousness is some quality of the brain. In science, that is how they say. It is a phenomenon, epiphenomenon of brain. That emerging quality, the quality which emerges during the brain activities, that they call consciousness. Or they will say that consciousness, as the word suggests, ness, it is a quality of the body or quality of the sense organs or quality of the mind. It is not so. Consciousness is not a particular quality or a part of the body, senses and the mind. Then what is consciousness? Consciousness is the truth, is the reality which makes the body conscious, which makes the mind conscious. I am consciousness who pervade this body, make the mind conscious, make the body sentient, make the sense organ sentient. So I am like light. Just as light pervades the object and illumines the object, similarly, I, consciousness, pervade this body and make this body sentient. It is not available for objectification. I cannot see consciousness under microscope or any scope. People say, Swamiji, I want to experience consciousness. You cannot experience consciousness. Why? Because consciousness is you. And you are the subject, not available for objectification. So consciousness is not to be experienced. Consciousness is to be owned up as myself. This is a very important point in understanding Vedanta. Most of the people are stuck with that. What they say, Swamiji, I have theoretically understood consciousness in the class. Now I want to experience consciousness. Like in physics, we used to have that first we study theory and then we go to laboratory and have experiment. So similarly, we have this orientation that I theoretically understand consciousness and then I will experience consciousness. Consciousness is not a matter of experience. It is not an object of experience. Consciousness is to be owned up as myself. And I, consciousness, am free from any changes. All changes are happening in the body, mind, sense complex. I am free from all changes. Consciousness is free from death. I am free from any birth or death. And this idea that I, consciousness, am free from birth and death, that is given in this shloka. It says, Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is using this style of communication where double negative is used to emphasize something. Instead of saying that Atma is Nityaha, Atma is permanent, the limitation, time-wise limitation of Atma is dismissed. Why is it done like this? Why didn't Bhagavan say, understand Arjuna, Atma is Nitya? It is easier to say. In fact, one whole shloka in one sentence, if you have to put, is Atma is Nitya. But Bhagavan did not use that style. Why? Because if it is said Atma is Nitya, then you will think there is some Atma which is Nitya, permanent. Atma is permanent. And therefore, you will have one concept about some Atma being there which is permanent. And therefore Bhagavan uses the language of first person, Uttama Purusha. And he says, Aham jatu na asam natu. Jatu na tu means, jatu means at any time. Na jatu means not at any time. Tu indeed. Arjuna, this was never the case. What? Aham na asam. I was not there. That was never there. Means there was never a situation when I was not there. Which means what? I am always there. But when Arjuna hears this, he may think, Bhagavan, you are Bhagavan. So you are permanent. We jivas may not be permanent. You are Bhagavan. So as a Bhagavan, you have incarnated, but you are permanent. Whereas people like us are not permanent. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Natvam. There was never a situation, there was never a case when you were not there. Tvam na iti na jatu. There was never a situation. Na jatu means never. Never there was a situation when you were not there. Double negative. It was never a case when you were not there. Means what? You were always there. In the past, there was never a situation when you were not there. Even though you are celebrating your birthday, but really speaking, you are always there. Birth is of the body, but you, Atma, Chaitanya Swarupa Atma, are always there. You are always there. You as consciousness are always there. Like space. Space is always there. Pot comes and therefore we say pot space is born. But space as such is never born. Pot is born and pot is gone. But space like consciousness is always there. So space, pot is born, pot is gone. Space continues to be. Similarly, I, consciousness, who am like pot space, continue to be. But most of the people have problems. I don't feel so. I am not feeling I am consciousness. Remember, I am consciousness is not a matter of feeling. It is a matter of understanding. If I tell you, this is energy, are you feeling it is energy? You are feeling it's a pencil only. But those who have studied physics, science, they know that matter is nothing but energy in motion. It's energy only. So if I say this is energy, suppose I don't feel so. It's not a matter of feeling. It is a matter of understanding that this is energy. Similarly, I am consciousness is not a matter of feeling. Vedanta is not meant for having good feeling or some feeling of Atma. So if you are expecting that Vedanta will give you the feeling of Atma, then your expectations are misplaced expectations. And in life, when you have got misplaced expectation, they are not fulfilled. This fact we need to know. Many times we are frustrated because Swamiji did not fulfill my expectation. I had so much hope from him or her, he did not fulfill my expectation. Maybe your expectation was misplaced. So similarly here, if you are expecting that Vedanta will give you the feeling one day, after a few classes, Swamiji, when will you give us an experience of Atma? Light off and all. So night of you will have experience of Atma. Why? Because you will feel sleep. You feel sleepy, not sleepy. You will asleep. So remember, it is not a matter of feeling. Atma, I am consciousness, is a matter of understanding. If you don't understand, you listen again. You listen again. Once, twice, three times, four times. No problem. If you find difficulty in understanding, it is understandable. I don't say that why you have difficulty in understanding. No, you can have a difficulty. It is difficult. It is subtle subject matter. That is why we are here for years together. No? Otherwise, the Vedic Vedanta basic stuff is very little. But people don't understand, so they come again, and also to after understanding to make it stronger, they come. Everybody is not that don't understand. Anyway, so you are always there. There was never a time when you were not there. Bhagavan says, it is not that I only was not absent. I was not there. It was not a situation. You also were not there. That was never a situation. Means you were always there. But what about these people? Ime janadipaha na itina. So these kings, all these kings and all soldiers, all of them, they also were always there. Means there was no prior non-existence. In Sanskrit, it's called pragabhava. There was never prior non-existence. Generally, what is our feeling? See, I was born in 1950, suppose. Then I was not there before 1950. How will I know? I was not there. That's what we say. So I feel that I was born on a particular day and before that I was not there. It is something like pot space is thinking. Before this pot was born, I was not there. That is not true. Even before pot was born, space was there. I am space like consciousness who was there even before this pot like body is born. Our body is like pot only, sometimes looks like big Pruthu Budnodara. So big belly. So it is that body was born, but I was not born. Before the body was born, I as consciousness was very much there. I got manifested through this body, but I was present. So I was there, you were there, all were there as Atma, everybody was there. Means there was no prior non-existence of me, you, or anybody as Atma. Then somebody may say, all right, so far we were there, but in future we may not be there. People they fear that afterwards I will not be there. Many parents have this fear. What? Swamiji, when I am not there, what will happen to them? I will not be there. They may do better also. Who knows? Sometimes we really, fear is unfounded. You underestimate sometimes the ability of your children. And since you are there and you are taking care of that, so they are not taking responsibility sometimes. It may be the case. That is by the way. So this fear is there. I will not be there. So people have this feeling, I have earned so much, and one day I will not be there. Who will take away this money? You spend it. Now itself you spend it. That is better. Don't worry about it. Start spending in such a way that by the time you leave the body, zero balance. That's a good situation. Anyway, that is too much to expect. But fear is that what will happen when I will not be there? Bhagavan says, Nacha eva na bhavishyamaha. Nacha eva. That is not the case. That na bhavishyamaha. We will not be there. That is never that is never going to be the situation when we will not be there. Na bhavishyamaha. Na bhavishyamaha. We will not be there. That type of situation will never be there. We will always be there. But Swami, does it mean my body will become immortal? I am not talking about body. We are talking from the standpoint of Atma. As Atma, and Atma means what? Consciousness, what really you are. What really you are is consciousness, and as consciousness, you will always be there. There will never be a time when you will not be there. Even when pot is broken, space continues to be. When the object is gone, light continues to be. Similarly, I, as consciousness, continue to be. Even when the body is gone, I will be manifesting through other bodies. I continue to be. I am timeless. The notion of being time bound is knocked off here by this statement of Bhagavan. Of course, if one has the Pramanya Buddhi in Bhagavan, people may think Swami, it is a positive thinking only. This is not really true. Only just to make us feel good, there Bhagavan is telling. If that is your approach, then you may not get benefited. But if you look upon the statement of Shastra as Pramanam, as valid means of knowledge, then it is a very relieving statement that Nacha evana bhavishyamaha. There will never be a time when I will not be there or even this person will not be there. Everyone will be there as Atma. Sarve vayam atah param. So, na bhavishyamaha ke sarve vayam, all of us. All of us will not be there. That is never going to be there. Atah param. Hereafter. Hereafter means even after the fall of this body. We will continue to be. Some people say, this is not a very good news. Because I don't want to continue. I thought after a few years, this story will be stopped and you are saying that you will continue to be. Some people may have not a good news for me. I thought you will say something good. You said that you will continue to be. So means my husband is continuing, my wife is continuing, my children, same thing. So this word, horrible word. See, that is not the case. Why? Because this is being said from the standpoint of you being consciousness. And you as consciousness don't have any problem. Why? Because you as consciousness don't have spouse. Why? Because whom you are considering spouse is the same Atma as you are. And here Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, Shankaracharya ji says, that here use this word that you, me, they for Atma. Really speaking, in Atma there is no such division. In Atma, I, you, they is not there. Only from the standpoint of the body, which is the standpoint people are familiar with, it is said, I, you, they. From the standpoint of Atma, consciousness, such division, such duality is not there. There is only one consciousness which is manifesting through this body, that body, all the bodies. And from that standpoint, from the vision of this consciousness that really I am, there is no problem whatsoever. But I, consciousness, am never affected by any happening in Anatma. Anatma means what? This body, mind, sense complex. I am like space. Space is not affected when pot is broken or pot is becoming old or pot is hit with other pot, suppose. One pot is hit with other pot. Here got only one pot, non-dual pot. So I cannot show you. So two pots are hit against each other, but the space which is obtaining in both the pots doesn't get affected. because it is one space. For fighting, you require duality, isn't it? You can fight with someone. No, no, Swamiji, I fight with myself also. Some people say, Swamiji, I fight with myself. You fight with yourself, you are creating some imaginary duality in you and you are fighting. Fighting requires duality. And so, from the standpoint of Atma, there is no problem whatsoever. And therefore, a wise person is told that you will live for 100 years. Okay. If the body lives 100 years, I am timeless. It doesn't matter to me whether this body lives for 100 years or just tomorrow it is going to die. It doesn't matter. Life becomes a problem when a person doesn't have right attitude to life. Otherwise, jivite maranevana grudim kuryat. When you have right understanding, life and death will not be an issue. Why? Because you know that life and death belong to the body. I am ever enlivening eternal, timeless consciousness. And therefore, there is no problem. But here, Bhagavan is talking about this Atma being Nityaha, because Arjuna had the problem of death of his relatives. Since death was the issue highlighted, therefore Bhagavan is addressing that issue. Bhagavan is talking about Atma from that angle. And also it is called Prathama Malla Nyaya. The death issue is the prime issue, because if you can handle the death issue well, then all other issues are small. Somebody said nicely, he said, Swamiji, all these small things don't bother, because we have to handle on the site, oil field, we have to handle the life and death situation. When you have handled that, then this small, oh, this person did not come to me and did not look at me, all this will not bother you. So Prathama Malla Nyaya means what? If you want to become world champion in wrestling, you don't have to fight with all the wrestlers. Whoever is the last champion, if you defeat that person, all the champions stand defeated. Similarly, the death is the biggest issue for most of the people, and therefore, if that is addressed, then all issues stand addressed. If a person remembers the death of this body objectively, properly, then he will live properly. You know that this body is so temporary. Why to fight so much for small issues when all of them are going to be irrelevant? When a person dies, whether he had the two computers or one computer, does it matter? It doesn't matter. Whether he had one bungalow or two bungalows, two palaces, doesn't matter. So, death of the body, if it is remembered objectively and appreciating Atma to be permanent, then you will have proper response to every situation. So Bhagavan is talking about Atma being Nitya, free from death, free from birth. But still people may have questioned, Swami, whatever you say, but we do have experience of somebody dying. I have not experienced my death because I am alive. To ask you a question, I should be alive. But we see person died and my horoscope is written that you will die at the age of 85 or something. So, what is the death? There is a word death. How do you explain that? And when death happens, what happens to Atma? That particular question is answered in the next shloka. Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yovananjara Tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra na mushyati. So Bhagavan says there are several changes happening in the body. In Shastra, we talk about Shat Vikara. Shat Vikara is the changes happening in the body of a person. If a person lives life of 50, 60, 70, we can see very clearly. First Vikara is called birth. Being born is the first modification because it was in potential stage and now it is available. So that is also change. Birth is not really a complete new beginning. It is change in the matter. It was there, body was there in unmanifest state, now it becomes manifest. Therefore, birth also is a vikara, modification. Then second is, person is coming into being. After birth, what happened? Coming into being, it was not there, now comes into being. So being existent as a limited individual with particular nama and form nama and rupa, that is second vikara called asti. Third is asti jayate vardhate. Baby grows. Baby will grow. Fast growing. We can see within few months we see the growth. Growing. Vardhate. Then viparinamate is metamorphic changes. Voice change will happen, beard, etc. will happen. So that is viparinamate. Where we don't see growth, but we don't see the height, etc. But some changes will be happening. And that continue to happen. In smaller scale, bigger scale. But it will be happening. Then, after certain age, there is called apakshiyate, declines. The body starts declining. In fact, scientifically, they say that even the height of a person is reduced. Not that is drooping or something. Height is reduced. Apakshaya is there. And even knee, we can see very much that wear out is there. Therefore, knee will make noise. I'm here. So far, it was not making noise. Now it says, I am knee. Katak, katak, So that sound will be there. And so many places, ears also, some eyes also. So apakshaya, declining. And then finally what? Vinashyati, what we call death. So all these changes are happening in the body. That time, what happens to Atma? Atma continues to illumine this change. Atma continues to enliven this body with changes. Atma remains the same. When body is born, Atma remains whatever Atma is, consciousness. When body is growing, then also Atma remains the same. Atma continues to be the same when there is birth, there is growth, or there is decline. And even when death happens, Atma continues to be the same. Then what happens to Atma? Atma will be manifesting through other body. Once this body is gone, then Atma will manifest through other body. There is no change in Atma. So when Jara, Kaumaram, when the youth is there, then Atma continues to be consciousness. When old age comes, Atma continues to be consciousness. When in between the childhood was there, Atma continues to be there. Kaumaram is childhood, sorry. Kaumaram is boyhood. Yauvanam, youth. Jara, old age. In all three states, Atma continues to be the same. In fact, you use the word I only. The child also use the word I. Youth also use the word I. Old person also use the word I. Even linguistically speaking, you remain the same. What about the death? Atma continues to be the same. So when there is a change in the body, Atma remains unchanged. When there is change of the body, means there is not change in the body. Now body itself is changed. Then also Atma continues to be the same. Like an actor is playing the role of a person who was very rich in the beginning and he becomes very poor and again he becomes rich. That time the actor continues to be the same. In his income there is no change, or his property there is no change. He continues to be the same. So when any change was happening in the role he was playing, no change really happened to the actor. When that particular role in which this person was billionaire, this actor was millionaire only. So he continues to be millionaire. And again this role, the character that became poor, still the actor continues to be millionaire. And again he becomes super billionaire. Actor continues to be billionaire only. No change. So when any change happen in the role, the actor continues to be the same factually. It may appear to be rich, poor, rich. But there is no change in this financial status of this actor. He has already taken advance fee. So there is no change. And when he changes the role itself, now he did the shooting here in the first shift, they call shift. And then when they go to other shift, other studio. So now the role itself is changed. Not there is a change in the role. The role itself is changed. He is playing the role of some minister there, or playing the role of some cricket player or something. Then also there is no change in the actor. Actor continues to be the same. Whether there is a change in the role or change of the role, actor continues to be. Similarly, when there is a change in the body, earlier it was a young body, then old body, there was no change in the Atma. Even when there is a change of the body itself, there is no change in Atma. Atma continues to be the same. So birth and death belong to the body. I, Atma, continue to be the same. That is said here. Dehinaha asmin yatha dehe. Yatha. Just as asmin dehe, in this body. Dehinaha, for Atma. Kaumaram yovanam jara. For the self which is manifesting through the body. Dehinaha. Kaumaram, this boyhood. Yovanam, youth. Jara, old age. In all three states of the body, for Atma, there is no change whatsoever. Just as when there is change of Kaumaram, Yovanam, Jara in the body, there was no change for Dehi, Atma. Tatha, similarly, Dehantara Praptihi, when there is attainment of another body, when this Atma is manifesting through other body, that time also for Dehi there is no change whatsoever. And therefore, Tatra, with regard to death, Dhiraha na muhyati. A wise person does not get deluded. What type of delusion can happen? If person is ignorant, I am going to die. He is going to die. She is going to die. I am going to die. That death does not become an avenue for confusion. And that person is called Dhiraha. Dhiraha means one who has got dhi, right understanding. And dhira has got another beautiful meaning, which is given in some work of Kalidasa. Vikar hetau sati vikriyante yesham na chetamsi deva dhiraha. Who are dhiraha? Intelligent people or these mature people. Vikar hetau sati. When there is a cause for provocation, at that time also, the person whose mind is not provoked, that person is called dhira. If you are remaining inside your house alone and say, Swami, I am not disturbed, because there is nobody to disturb. Your spouse has gone out for some time, so not disturbed. Or children have gone out, or neighbors have gone out, perhaps. But when there is a provoking situation, somebody is accusing you, you are like this. Especially something which you value so much, like you value your honesty or integrity, and somebody doubts that itself. I think you have done some manipulation. Suppose somebody says, provoked. So even when there is a provoking situation, still person remains unprovoked. Because of what? Because of this maturity. Then that person is dhiraha. See, somebody accuses us of something. Why? Two reasons are there. One is that we have provided some basis to create doubt. Even though we are right, but we have behaved in such a manner that it can become the basis for doubt. They say that if you are drinking milk in the alcohol bottle, there are special alcohol bottle, this particular shape and all, and you are drinking milk, will people doubt or not? Suppose Swami is drinking that. Even though people need not doubt, hey, Swami doesn't drink, guys. You know him. But still, एक बार तो मन में आ जाता है. Maybe he has started. बहुत टेंशन हो गया होगा आश्रम संभालने में. To handle this ashram. So I think. So why people doubt us? One reason is that even though we are right, but we don't look right. Possible or not? If I am talking to one person more, then other students will that feeling that Swamiji is partial. Possible or not? I have provided the basis. Even though there may be a genuine reason why I am interacting with that person more, because that person requires more attention. That may be the genuine reason. But I have provided the basis for doubt. Is it clear? So I'm just giving the example that how in our life, we don't understand the whole situation and feel bad. So one reason why people doubt us is this, that we might have knowingly, unknowingly provided the basis for doubting. Second reason is the background of that person, for which I am not responsible. That person had very bad experience, being cheated, that experience was there. He was cheated every now and then. He was fooled every now and then. And he used to feel that, I thought this person is like this and he turns out to be something else. So he had such experience in his life. And in that situation, even if I give a small avenue, small basis for doubting, naturally he will doubt. Doubting person doubts. So he has got this particular, they call paranoid. They become paranoid. So it is understandable. That person will doubt. Imagine if I am traveling in the train, if I give food, offer some food, people will doubt or not. People say, Swami, उसमें कुछ मिलाया होगा, उसमें हमारा कुछ सामान लेके चला जाएगा. He will take away our things. That's why nowadays I don't offer. Even though generally I carry something with me, I feel like giving. Earlier I used to offer, but now people are too suspicious, so I don't offer. But then, like Dharma Sankat. So, so I understand if people doubt me that I may be like other person and having some poison or something, and I will take away. It's understandable. That is maturity. That somebody doubts you and you don't feel provoked. Why? Because you can say that person has such background. He or she has such background, therefore doubts. Ask this question to yourself that can I do something to reduce the basis for that person to doubt? Can I reduce the avenues which are creating doubt in the person? That is my contribution. See, you do not have control over the other person. You cannot change the background of other person, but you can contribute. How? By reducing the scope for doubt. So, when somebody doubts, accuses, that time also we remain unprovoked. Then we are dhira. Death is one of the situations when people feel provoked. In the sense, the thought of my death or thought of somebody's death is an avenue for creating reaction. Dhira is what? In such situation also, na muhyati. When you have got the power of knowledge, you can remain composed. Why you become provoked? Because you have wrong attitude based on wrong understanding. When you know that the whole thing is a drama, that I consciousness alone and manifesting through this body is accused, and I consciousness alone am manifesting through that body which is accusing. Accuser and accused are both of them manifestation of same consciousness. Then what? It is like a monoactive. The whole world is a monoactive. So one and the same reality is playing different roles. When this vision is there, what? Death is only at the level of the body. I consciousness never die. And therefore what? Namuhyati. Not worried about my own death, not worried about anybody's death. Death is a fact related to the body. I, Atma, never die, and I can never stop the death of the body. What is going to die will die, and I am the self who never dies. Therefore, what? Namuhyati. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru